to our panel this evening. I want to thank Toombul Shopping Centre and Dapple and Waiver for letting us hold our event here. And I also want to thank Ms. Tyler who are hosting this panel. So if you haven't heard of Ms. Tyler, it's an amazing app where you're able to follow women for style inspiration who have a similar body type and style to you. And it's a wonderful body positivity app, and the community that has been created is also incredibly supportive and encouraging. So I highly recommend downloading it if you haven't already and sign up to the app. So Ms. Tyler has teamed up with Toombul for 50 days of style by bringing us the Stylist and Resident Zone downstairs near Target. And through this activation we've held various events on style and makeup, as well as teaming up with brands within Toombul to create content and hold photo shoots. So we also have our finale runway show this Saturday, showing the latest collections in store, and I'll give you more details about that at the end of the evening. So my name's Jules. I'm a fashion student and a Ms. Tyler contributor, and I have had the honour of being a part of the Ms. Tyler Stylist, being a stylist this past couple of months, and I'm also a contributor on the app. So now I'm going to introduce these lovely women in front of me here. So first down the end here we've got the ladies from Active True. So we've got Stevie and Nadia, and then the co-founders of Active True. It's an inclusive activewear brand with extended sizes from 6 to 26 and a niche product range such as maternity, tall and petite. Their products are designed with a focus on fit to give women confidence and support for exercise and for life. Active Truth champions women's inclusivity, diversity and positivity through realistic marketing and a commitment to never retouch their images. So testament to the demand for brands that they cater to and celebrate women regardless of their size, shape and stage of life. Active Truth is growing from a bootstrap side project to a multi-million-dollar e-commerce business, now with a newly opened store right here at Toombul. Next we have Sam, Curvy Sam. It's a Brisbane-based plus-size influencer, model, blogger, style consultant and content creator who has not only written a hugely successful blog, Curvy Sam, since 2009, she's also founded an exclusive Facebook community in 2019 called Curvy AU, where plus-size women can connect both virtually and physically at events all over Australia. And Sam not only supports women in the community and creates an authentic connection, she's also your virtual best friend who shares her journey in the plus-size world. Working in the body diversity space for over 12 years now, Sam has travelled the world being involved in plus-size fashion events like Full Figure Fashion Week New York, CurvyCon, and worked on the media team for international fashion events for a number of years. And this has inspired her to create an inclusive events like her annual Body Positivity Pool Party here in Australia.
That's amazing!
So next we've got Amy. Amy is a personal, editorial and campaign stylist with over 10 years of retail industry experience. Amy has worked with a diverse range of brands with a focus on developing a personal brand and style regardless of gender, size, shape or ability. And she loves to break style rules and champion uniqueness and individuality. Next we have Suzanne. Suzanne advocates positive mental health awareness through her fashion blog, Suzanne Dang. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 1, she's a positive role model and voice for those who are dealing with mental health issues, and she's got an amazing sense of style. And lastly, and not least, is Sonia. Sonia is a Sierra Leonean Australian fashion and lifestyle blogger who loves connecting with people with their souls through fashion. She aims to inspire and empower women to live their best lives and express their unique selves by sharing her experiences with a dose of all-inclusive sense of style. Okay, so today we'll be discussing inclusivity and diversity within the fashion industry and why representation matters. So I'm just going to give a quick spiel over the topic and then we'll go into the discussion. So the fashion industry has quite a long reputation of discrimination based on race, size, gender, ability and age, just for examples. There is an aesthetic preference for a tall, slim white model, and it's been slowly happening, but in 2020 in particular was the year we saw social change. And begin to really happen with many brands adjusting to a more diverse and inclusive environment. So to ensure accountability, however, there must first be clarity in what these two words mean for the industry. So I want to start the discussion off by asking you all, what does inclusivity and diversity mean to you?
Do anybody want to start?
do the moment card. I mean, I want people to be represented. Anywhere you look around, if you can look into a crowd and then you can look at a stall and you see them included, that's inclusivity. We want mobility inclusivity. We want age, size, cultural, it's all of it. And actually Active Truth do it really, really well. You can look across their socials. I've worked on and off with them for 5 years. I don't know, from the start. OGs. But they've nailed it. And the fact that you got to a size 26 is incredible. And yeah, so inclusivity for me is representing everyone, not just, as you said, the gender norm of the white slim woman that we see everywhere, especially in Australia. Things are changing though. We're getting there.
I think to what Sam said, for me, I kind of like take it like the two different things. For me, diversity means I want everybody to be represented like the world we live in. Because in the world we live in, there are different genders, there are people with disability, there are different sizes. That's the world there's religion, like sexuality, that's the world we live in. And I want to look in a magazine or look on a TV and see that being represented because that's the world we live in. It's not like that ideal, because that's not normal, because when you get out of that, it's not, we are all different. And especially, for example, for me, like, I'm a Sierra Leonean. I came here when I was 13. Like, I didn't used to see people my color on TV. And like what Sam was saying, that drastically changed from last year. And I think one thing I think we all should really make sure that it's not about being aesthetic. Like, don't put someone there to make it look good or try to get an image. Really mean it. Like, really mean it. Because it's not an aesthetic. Because we're all different people. Our bodies are different. We go through stages in life. And being inclusive and also like, don't do it at the front end, do it at the back end as well. Because we need different people at the back end to make the proper change. Like, just don't choose one person and the other. That's inclusive and diversity. I think Nikki from Samu do it so well, because I started working with Nikki and she makes sure that everybody is represented, and that's a passion for us. I think that's what I want to see, that's inclusivity and diversity.
I'll add to that as well. I'm just going to speak. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So we have like a visual representation, like we have visual representation of inclusivity. It's also like owning a business, thinking about how bigger bodies will fit into a different space, who's tall, who's short. So, you know, it's like having a cafe and thinking about what seating you're going to have. Is that inclusive seating for someone that has a big bum? Or, you know, can salt and pepper be reached for someone that may have mobility issues? That's something that we don't talk about as a big visual aspect, but there's a very practical aspect to inclusivity as well.
I want to go back and tell a little story that happened to me maybe 2014. Can you hear me? I entered a pageant and I was the largest girl in the pageant. Like, everyone else was size 6 to 8, I was size 14, and I had a lot of confidence while into the pageant, and it was from Miss World Australia. And I went to Sydney to compete in it, and there was photos taken, of course, like the weddings and the swimwear around. We had evening gown, we had a fun fashion gown as well. And after the photos were published, I had received some troll comments on my pictures. One person saying sumo, and another person saying, why did she end the pageant? She was too fat. So my story around this is that I find that as a Vietnamese person, we're great in culture. It's very like, they're really strict on the side of the way you look, and as well, plastic surgery is really common in Asian culture, especially Korean and Japanese culture. And I learned that from this pageant experience, that it was, I didn't feel included after it happened, and I asked the organizer afterwards if I could enter again, and she told me the exact words, you have to be size 6 to 8. So I thought, this is not being inclusive in my own thing. Like, it's fashion, sure, but how is it not include? Why can't I include everyone else who goes to bigger or smaller or shorter or taller again? So I find that some pageants that really don't have the right criteria. They're not very open to like bigger size bodies or shorter petite models. But the pattern of entering this one is really good. They accept all body size. There's no age limit. There's Miss Division, and Team Division as well. And I am actually in the national finals, and I get to compete in Melbourne next year in December. So yeah, I want to enter this pageant to remind myself that if I win, I want to build more mental health awareness. And I'm going to tangent now, but yeah, and I want to build more awareness and bring more awareness to bipolar. People with bipolar can live normal lives and do things that make them happy, whatever normal means to normal to them. Yeah. And I'm not sure if I answered the question, but yeah.
Alright. I'll just talk now. Alright, so I feel like we've sort of talked on tokenism and how, it's good to involve people in the back end of businesses, in marketing, in advertising, in finance, everything. You don't want people just on the front representing the business. So I feel like we've covered that. So I'm going to go on to how do you think your community that you're representing today, how do you think they're forcing change within the Australian retail industry, and is there any particular topics that are trending within your community at the moment?
I think sort of the plus side. I'm it's kind of they're letting their money do the talking. Where they spend their money, and it often case these days it's online or it is overseas because there's not as much retail availability. It's definitely getting better, and there are some great brands coming up. And the smaller brands are definitely seeing that market share because there's no other option. Like you guys are doing gangbusters because there's people there that want it. And I think that's sort of how people are becoming more aware that if I don't buy that terrible, ugly thing just because it fits, they will stop making it, hopefully.
I feel personally when a brand show out their designs and the pieces and stuff, if they don't have a story behind why they're doing it, I find that I'm not very interested in the first product. I find that brands that have stories, like authentic stories behind why they're doing it, is really important. And yeah, that's my 2 cents for now.
I'll use the mic. Ultimately, we need to do better. I can't shop at Toombul, barely. Sportsgirl have signs downstairs saying inclusivity. I don't fit into anything in their store. And they have extended to a size 18, but I can't buy that in the store because they'll only have it online. And we need to do better. And I don't think straight size people understand how discriminated against we feel. I mean, even as a size 18, I'm a size 20, so I can't, even if it was online, I could basically fit into some of the larger sizes. But coming from someone who runs a plus size community, there's 11,000 of us. We're an exclusive network. You have to kind of know someone to get in. It's a sisterhood. And we've kept the numbers smaller just so we just keep a really positive, nice space. But what's trending for us at the moment are wide fit shoes. Where to buy wide fit shoes. A lot more posts about that. More and more rocket. But it's also my job as a community manager to facilitate that conversation to say, right, well, let's have a set space. So we've been changing things up strategically within our environment to have set topics that we speak about, have search functions and hashtags, and Facebook groups is really evolving and changing. Obviously coming into swimwear, people want to buy swimwear for bigger busts. But Christmas, everyone wears those cute little shirts. You see the family photos. We don't, as plus size in Australia, we don't actually have that option. Many of us, you probably have done this, I know you have men's shirts at Christmas, right? We have to wear men's shirts. And I mean, what's that? Was it Sportscraft? Not Sportscraft, the actual major Rebel Sports. I can't buy any activewear there. No activewear. I still would have to buy menswear, and I grew up buying men's activewear until I met Active Truth, right? So yeah, training in my community, people are asking questions. As Amy said, we are the power of our money. We want colour, we want print, we just don't want animal print movers, you know? Yeah, and wide fit shoes is something that, it's not something that is heavily spoken about. Some people have fat feet. that's okay. And some people just naturally have larger feet, and now we're actually creating that space and speaking up, and we're just normalizing the conversation of, you know, we all have different shapes, we come in different shapes and sizes, and we can verbalize that.
Yeah. And I wanted to just add something there about how brands, they are attempting plus size fashion, but what they're offering, like you said, moo-moos pretty much, as something that's not very aesthetically pleasing. They're putting it out there and expecting there to be sales, and when there's not, they're like, oh, we tried it, it didn't work.
They're only going to 18, so is that plus size really?
Yeah, so are they really trying? No, probably not.
It is improving.
Yeah.
We gotta
Better than with our voices. Well, when we said, we keep saying, oh, it's better than it was. It isn't visible compared to how you in the US, when you look at the opportunity and the brands over there that are doing it so well across plus size, but across diversity in general, they're doing a great job. And in Australia, we're doing a terrible job. And then we celebrate a brand or a fashion week that puts in one size 14 model and one woman over a size 14 who is white and thin and a size 8. And
That's just a little deep to Brisbane Fashion Week because we're all boy bubbles.
Yeah, it's getting better.
No.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just to add to what the ladies are saying, I think from my point of view as well, our community is trying to support there's a little creators who are trying to support the creative black designers version of that that people don't know about. So like if they have a fashion show, we have all these other designers. What about what makes us unique, what makes us beautiful, that we can all come together? I think the white community is like, we are trying to showcase that they this is black designers to do this and support everyone to say like everybody can support that as well. Not talking about how people know about this other businesses.
Okay, so there was an interesting article written about how, or from Edited actually, they were mentioning about how in the plus size industry and in plus size fashion, the words flattering was used 22% more times than straight sizes, and slimming was 19% more times. So I know Amy has a lot to say on this topic, but I just wanted to ask how damaging are these terms and what's a better alternative?
I don't want to swear, but I hate those words. I think it's still bringing back to that, oh, this is plus size and it's beautiful and it flatters you, and that means it makes you an hourglass and makes you look thin. And I think that's ridiculous. There shouldn't be an ideal body type. Not all hourglasses are the same anyway. I don't even like that term, so I don't like hourglass, pear, apple. We are people, not fruit. I think it also, even limiting someone to you are an apple shape, they automatically go, oh, well, I can't wear that. Even though I love it and it makes me feel great. But someone told me that's against the rules. And personally, I think that's very old-fashioned. And I think flattering still comes back to that high idea of you need to be an hourglass to be accepted. And hourglass means thin. That's the ideal type at the moment. That's what's in fashion. Used to be stick thin, head loss, straight up and down. I could go on, but there's other. That's not the world we live in. Yeah.
So we are conditioned and to believe that we will be happier, sexier, richer, smarter, all of the above if we're a certain size. And we are now in control that we can change that narrative, by using our own voices. Last night I put a post up of me I'm doing a campaign with Best and Less at the moment. So they have actually engaged me and paid me to put a photo of my friend and I wearing the same thing. So they're actively trying to do that. Also, they have Christmas gear, so if you need that, that's sort of right. And I had an older lady come on and say, oh my gosh, you don't need to say that you're plus size, you're absolutely beautiful and you have a heart of gold. And I was like, yeah, I didn't say I was ugly and fat. If we change that narrative that these words like plus size and bigger and, we can change how we feel about that because, I have fat, I'm fat, and we can change it to have more of a positive experience. So when it comes back to words like flattering, we're conditioned to believe that if we look smaller, we'll be happier and more fashionable. You know, Amy and I will happily be visibly plus size and show our tummies because it gives a fuck. I guess from our perspective, like, we really put a huge emphasis on the language that we use in our communications. We spend a lot of time, particularly Stevie, with our staff, trying to educate our staff members about the way that we want to communicate with our community. We work with our suppliers and our marketing, our external marketing teams, and they are forever flabbergasted about how many redrafts there are from us, because there's so many people and companies out there that really don't understand the power of the words that you use, and it can be just the way that you frame it in a positive sense or a negative sense. And you know, and we always have to reflect on what we write to, and we do really try as a brand to be really conscious about the language that we use. And we really try to use our platform to, to remove bias and stereotypes. And you know, we're not perfect. We make mistakes, not all the time. We make mistakes, and people in the community will email us and say, "Hey, you know, we know you always have best intentions, but the way that you worded this made me feel like this," and we're like, you know, we always take it on board. And I think that's something that I really encourage people here to do is brands, well, I like to think because we do, and I know a lot of the brands that we work with, we do listen, we do have the best intentions in our communications to the world, but sometimes we get it wrong. And we really do appreciate the feedback, and I think not just, oh my god, that was horrible, you know, I felt that you were attacking me or saying something like that, but taking the time to explain why that affects you, because sometimes we just miss it, we're busy, or we just haven't had that experience in our life. And you know, like, I guess from our point of view, like we really do take the time and care about the way that we communicate and the words that we use, and yeah, we're always open to feedback around language that may not be appropriate.
I think just on that, particularly the word, you know, flattering, I think it's laziness on a lot of brands' part, because it's laziness on the way that they're marketing to larger sizes. It's, you know, shows in their product range and other things that they do, and they go, oh, we just slap a flattering and a slimming on it, and surely someone will buy it. So I think that, yeah, in part that is laziness, and I would hope that, you know, we shouldn't have to tell everybody that it's not appropriate, and you know, it's not going to sell what, you know, we're trying to get us to buy. But you know, I think it is worthwhile to speak out.
So Miss Tyler recently had someone reaching out to them saying, "Thank you for existing. I have severe body dysmorphia and I need you." Another woman said, "I spent almost my whole life feeling fat and ugly, and at 78 I feel human." So these reviews really demonstrate the importance of seeing yourself represented. So I just wanted to open the discussion, basically about the importance of seeing yourself represented in fashion, what that means to you.
Sorry, it's me again, I have the mic in my hand. This covers the power of community. And the good thing about building an online presence is that I can connect with people that I follow people that have my body shape. And as you know, obviously us being plus size, you follow people that you want to see what they're wearing, and you can be influenced. And having a community with this app is that it connects you with those people. You don't have to look for them, it actually pops up in your feed and you can identify. And I think as women it really connects us to have that ability to connect online, be inspired, and actually we have those lived experiences. Like as Suzanne said, you know, you might find someone that has a similar culture to you, and that would inspire you as well to have a similar body shape. You want to?
The importance of seeing yourself represented.
Well, I wouldn't introduce myself to someone new at a fashion event. I would say, hi, I'm Suzanne. I'm a mental health fashion blogger, and I had a lived experience of life. I tried to overcome it by sharing my story vulnerably in a raw and raw emotion way, and I find that like I've been fashion blogging since 2013, but I've discovered that my story in fashion could actually help someone else. And it's the fact that when I meet someone new and I tell them about my story and how I post online and social media, I find that I have more greater purpose in what I want to do in life. And I'm going on a tangent on here, but I have a lot on my mind at the moment. I'm really sorry. And my grandpa I found out this week that my grandpa has cancer, and I didn't want to be here tonight, but I told myself that I have to show up and I have to give this a go because it's a good opportunity. Yeah.
I think to what, just to add to what everybody is saying, it's a community, and we all need to be represented in the sense that like we live in a world where everybody is different. I always go back to like coming to Australia at a young age, pretty lost, because I migrated here without my mother and I came here with my father. And as a 13-year-old, you don't really know like, okay, where is the new product? Where's someone like myriad can be? Like, you got like really lost and you get connected to all the people back in America or the UK, but I'm here, I'm an Australian, like I need to be seen. And I think that's why I started my sonic space, because I wanted to get out of my shadows and think, I'm different, this is me. And for my 3-year-old to see me, to say, sometimes mommy I'm Afro, and sometimes mommy is this size, and sometimes mommy is this. And see other people do that, to say, this is my mommy, and there's a dark person, there's a brown skin person, there's someone with a big afro, because my daughter hair is so big. I want her to go and see, it's like, oh, there's someone like me. I could pop into Priceline and get a shea moisture and do my hair, like see someone there. And it's great to go into Priceline now and get shea moisture for my hair. And that's what I wanted to see, like that's why I do it. That's why I have some space that I could go and represent me and all the other people that are my skin color in Australia. And because I think Australia is so behind in the representation that we really need to keep up.
So Out and About magazine discussed how fashion as an industry prides itself on selling self-esteem and self-expression. And our clothing is so intimately connected with our sense of self, our confidence and our productivity. And research suggests that the way we dress is a reflection of our inner drive, character and our self-worth. And so I just wanted to put out a discussion on how fashion is core to your self-esteem and self-expression and what your thoughts are.
I think I'll start. I think fashion is such a good industry where we can all go and express ourselves and be creative with the clothes that we wear. And I don't think it should be limited to anything, because especially we have social media where we can go and be creative. I think the fashion industry has more work to do in that sense, to say, give us that space. Don't put us in a box, because we're not a group, we're not a shape, we're all human, we are all different, and we should be who we want to be. Because sometimes, like Amy, I like Amy's style because she owned it, and I'm like the colorful one, and I own that. And sometimes I have like my afro, and sometimes I have my reborn, and sometimes I'm that. And because we go through stages, like I was a size 6, and then I have baby, I was a size 10, and some days I'm a size 12. But I look at myself, all of that, I've embraced each and every stage. So don't put me in the box, because sometimes I want to wear shorts, sometimes I want to be in my undies. And it doesn't have to be limited to because of my age, or because of my status, or because I'm a mother, or because I have kids. I shouldn't be what I want to be. I want to be that. That's me at that particular stage. That's how I want to express myself. That's how I want to show up for myself. And what we should all do, like embrace that, be you, be creative, embrace every stage, because I'm not old, man. I'm aging with grace. And in my 80s, you see me in shorts and in my swimsuit, because that's me. And I'm so grateful for social media. I think that's the positive side, because we can go on and be us. I'm a compliance officer by day. I do policies and procedures. But you see me online, I'm a whole fashionista. Like, I do colors. And I'm just anybody like I could be. And like, for me, it's a discovery, because I have different personalities and I go through different stages and I have experiences, I have trauma. I'm from a war-torn country. I got asylum here. So those are all stages of my life, and I'm expressing that with every color, because that's who you should be.
I also love colour a lot, and when I look back at my old photos and how I dress, I feel it's really evolved and still evolving. And my style, I would say, is very bold and low layering. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, but I also find that the fashion, the community here in Brisbane, I'm very grateful for meeting some really lovely people in the fashion community, and we all bring each other up. We don't tear each other down, and we all empower each other, which is really good. And fashion is not just like the clothing, it's also about community and talking to each other and supporting each other in a way that we'll be able to express yourself and help each other. And it's a hard time, we have a hard time at one person or something like that. And yeah, I'm just really grateful that I met some really lovely ladies through this opportunity as well. And I remember talking to a few bloggers in Sydney, and they said, some of the Muslims saying that in Sydney none of the bloggers mingle with each other because it's so competitive down there. But compared to Brisbane, everyone's really friendly. I've been to a lot of fashion events here in Brisbane, and everyone was really friendly and want to know about each other and really support each other in that way as well.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that as well in regards to the stages of life. Being a mum, that has been the biggest eye-opening experience ever, because it's suddenly you're like in this category of your mum outfit, your mum wear. And I was following an influencer who's quite slim, and she's just put out a video on how to hide your mum pooch. And it's like, why are we hiding all that? Like, why are we so embarrassed by our mum bodies? Like, we just put babies into the world and we're trying to hide it. Yeah, so that's like a different aspect, I guess, of representation.
Yeah, I find that too, working sort of with clients and in retail over the years, that your bodies have done so much. You've literally created a human. Why are you hiding that? Like, I don't have kids, so can't relate, but like, I'm impressed. Like, don't hide that. Like, you have brought these beautiful kids into the world, and you're not the first one. Like, no one's surprised you've got a mum body after having a kid. Like, really? Like, I'd be more surprised if you had abs. And I think too, clothes can be so powerful. I'm sure if there's something in your wardrobe you put on and you're like, yeah, that's it, I'm Beyonce, this is like my world. Like, I have a green suit, like normally I'm not always and I can put that suit on and I'm, the most powerful lady around. I don't even need heels, I can just wear it with sneakers, and it's like, the fact that it's just an item of clothes and some fabric, and I'm amazing.
I'm gonna put this out there that I don't give a shit about fashion. I don't look at magazines. I don't troll online. Troll in the good way, like as in I don't spend hours on websites trying to curate my best outfit. I put zero time and energy into thinking about what I'm gonna wear. Tonight it was, I'm home, 10 minutes, purple pants, boom, done. But for me, it's about showing up as a visibly plus size person and showing what I like to wear. And I don't care whether it's fashionable or not. It's just, and finding clothes as a plus size person is tough. And this is why I've travelled to New York Full Figure Fashion Week for the media team for 3 years in a row. I've gone to CurvyCon. It's why I've come back and I've built a community, because obviously I've been an influencer online. I've evolved to be, I actually am a stylist now for disability women who have mobility issues. That happened over COVID, because obviously a lot of things died online, and people wanted clothes, and I fell into the disability space with people who have mobility issues, but they want style and people want to know where to buy things, and I'm not here to tell someone whether they're stylish or not, what looks good. I very much shifted my focus to never comment on people's bodies, never really. People wear what they want to wear. You can wear a bag, and I'll be like, sis, if you're happy, that's good. You know, live your best life. Take a bag, chic. But yeah, so obviously having an identity of style. I love wearing colour because I grew up. You know, I'm 36. I love wearing. I refuse to wear black. I refuse to wear leopard print. I can't do it. Those have a time and a place. It's just not for me. And I know they're super on trend. I've been very tempted by leopard print recently. But yeah, my style is definitely comes down to pops of colour because and anytime I find anything like these pants, I haven't worn them in like 2 years. That's why they popped when I sat down. That's okay. I just laughed about it and was like, whoa, I don't even know if I was a button then. But I bought them and they fit like a glove and they're multiple years old. You can only buy them in America. And now I'm seeing pants like this start to come out. Which is why I've travelled to America because in Australia we struggle. It's tough. You would know because you work with people. I will pass it on.
I live in activewear whenever I can, so I'm not fashionable at all, and I like leopard print. So don't ask me for fashion advice. But what I will say is around fashion and self-esteem. We get messages from women all the time about the transformative effect of a really good pair of tights from women who have had to shop in the men's section, or it has been it's been Kmart $5 tights, saggy. And poor quality, and just there's so many important benefits of exercise around mental health, longevity, happiness, community, fun, all of those things that I think women miss out on if they don't have the right clothes to wear to do it. So I think it's so important to have access to clothing across all sizes. Accessible, depending on your ability, all of these things for your self-esteem and for your quality of life, even if you have no fashion sense.
Alright, we're going to do a quick round of some quick fire questions and then we are going to do a bit of Q&A. So if you have something you want to ask, just start getting that ready. So I'm going to get each of you guys to answer this. So what's a favourite quote that you live by?
The quote that I'm living by at the moment, I've got a 10 and 9-year-old son and we're having a few issues at school and I think it's very relevant, this quote for this forum too, that is the standard you walk past is the standard that you accept. And that's very much been sort of our motto has been, if we see things we call it out and we do our best to make change. Both in the industry, within our own workplace, in social media, and it's also a very important issue as we come towards the elections in like the new year with how women are treated, how everyone, every different minorities in the community are treated. So it's something that is relevant to my boys, it's relevant to the playground, it's relevant to this space, and so it's something that I, as a woman who has been fortunate enough to have good education, I have the opportunity with my business to have an impact, and so I think it's important that I use my platform and be a responsible person in this area and do what I can when I can, because it really does have an impact, and we do get to hear and see that every day in our role, which is something that's very rewarding.
My quote that I live by is, why the fuck not me? And that's a quote that it's Mindy Kaling, I'll give credit where credit's due, but it's really, I guess it's a quote that I said to myself so many times when we were starting the business, having no idea whether it would work or not, and it was, well, we think that there's a need for a brand like this, why not us? But I think it's, it applies to, everything that, in this space as well, why the fuck me? Why shouldn't I have access? Why shouldn't I be able to see myself in advertising? Why can't I be the one that makes a difference? It's just like, I'm one person, but, every one person can make a huge impact in their area.
Mine is share the climb of the mountain because it could be a page in someone else's survival guide. And that is all about sharing our stories, sharing our truth, because we all have shared experiences, we have shared traumas, and if you're at the top of the mountain, you know the view from the top is good, but you can help the people behind you.
For me, it would be say yes and then figure out how. It's an ASI quote from when I studied. And sometimes the figuring out how is figuring out you can't do it. But saying that yes to the opportunity, so you don't miss it. And then maybe reaching out to someone for help, but just saying that yes and giving it a go.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Because community, the people who build me up, who empower me, support me.
Mine is like there's so many reasons to smile, because I think one thing I always get up is like I have an opportunity to do something good for that day. I'm very grateful for everything, so I focus on that here and focus on that and give myself permission to do that.
Just quickly, advice for your younger self.
So my younger self, I was saying, Sonia, get out of the shadow. You're different, accept that, embrace that, and live your best life.
For me, Suzanne, your mental illness will be your superpower. Believe it, embrace it, and you got this.
It'd probably be wear that crop top because no one else cares.
Yeah.
Mine would be have a beach body, just go to the beach with the swimmers on. For me, it's just listening to advice, but at the end of the day, believe in yourself because nobody knows it better than you.
Yes. Great, so we're going to open up the floor now to some Q&A. So if anyone's got a question, maybe just put your hand up and then we'll let you have the floor. If anyone online has anything they'd like to ask, we will read out the question as well, so put it up as well. So if anyone have a question?
So I think you've spoken so much tonight about size and shape, but what I love with your stories coming out is, like embracing colour too. And so I'm really, say with the active moving active wear, colour-wise, do you follow trends, or are you just, again, like, no, we love these things again, like it's going to match or it's going to go into your tones and it's going, so how do you guys choose your trends and your colourways
For our products,
This is probably a new question. That's nice.
We do follow trends, so we're watching catwalks, we're watching what's happening in the States. So we do follow that, but we really do listen to our customers. One thing that we do every year is we have a product survey, and we reach out and we ask our customers, what colours are you looking for, what styles are you looking for. So it's a real combination of looking out into the future and also listening to the customers, and I do that with, we've got a head designer now. Back in the day it was just Stevie and I picking things that we liked, but they come to me with the design and I just go, oh no way, like that is not going to work, and sure enough it starts popping up and they nail it. So and I think that's one big thing for us with our having a diverse size range, is that everyone, except for Sam, because Sam's not looking at the fashion runways at the moment, but we all look at the same TV shows and we watch the same movies and we're seeing the same fashion, and it shouldn't be something that's a privilege for a very few. We're trying to bring that to everyone.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you all so much. I've learned a lot, and I want to ask about power. I don't understand the structure of power in the fashion industry, but it seems to me that somebody at the top somewhere makes choices
operate in like our own little circle here. So we're not talking to any old men in companies somewhere, but I dare say that is the case. I don't know, you guys might have more experience working with some of the bigger companies.
It's Miranda Priestley that sits at the top and tells you.
I could probably add that buying power of, because I've been sold saying you'll be prettier and slimmer if you wear black, you know, that's like little black dress, lose 10 kilos, you know, that narrative, they're still brands because they have a market there who say, oh, we're not doing colour because black sells. And it does. But it's slowly evolving and changing through the power of community and the power of, you know, the buying power. There's no demand and there's no supply, but we'll always have our black basics. But I've spoken to some bigger brands and said, why don't you do the pastel colours? And, you know, it's really, we've surveyed this community. Here's 11,000 results. And, you know, they go with where their money, like, we don't know where to shop sometimes, isn't that right? Like we see the trends, but they're not offered to us.
I find too sometimes with like plus-size clients, they're kind of trained in a way that to expect a certain thing. So when they go shopping, they're looking for that big sleeve and that flowy dress and the black and the whatever. So when there's other options, they're like, oh, that's for the skinny people. Even though it might fit them, it's kind of like we need to train the customer that there are options, that, you know, you can buy that. Like some of the rules I've heard from women, I'm too fat to wear blue. One of the weirdest ones I've heard. And that sort of mentality is still there for a lot of customers. So when they're doing those surveys, they go, oh, I'd love to wear yellow, but I'm too fat for that. It's kind of that sort of mentality. And I think as customers, we're slowly learning that, no, we should demand better.
Just to add to that, I think what you said is so valid in the sense that who is actually making those decisions? Like, who is actually doing these surveys? Like, because we normal people are not being included in that survey for people to just be up there and say, this is what's trending and this is what we have to wear. And I think that's where the inclusivity comes in to say, we need lots of people at the back end to make these changes, to say, that's not real. That's not how the world we live in works. Because whoever is up there needs to really come down, their high horses, to say, this world we live in on Earth, where we are, there's so many people. We're not shapes, we're people that go through journeys and follow that through. That's why I don't follow anybody. When someone asks me, who's your statue? No, me. Because I wake up and say, this is what I want to wear, and I wear it. So that's about it. So I don't follow that.
To just answer the question about who you relate to authority, I guess traditionally it's been like a trickle-down effect from luxury brands as well, and it's a very old instilled ideology of what fashion and the aesthetic and what it's supposed to be like. And slowly that's changing. We're having a more bubble-up effect of like people in society are making more decisions and influencing, especially through social media. So that's a little bit, yeah.
We have a question from our Instagram live feed for the mamas. It says, I'm currently pregnant and I feel like the designated maternity wear in stores are so ill-fitting and boring. I think she's referring to the tents that they sell downstairs. And so any advice on maternity wear? And
don't wear maternity wear. That's what I can say.
Where's the best place to, like, how do you even go about maternity wear?
As a stylist, I often recommend options that you can wear afterwards. So don't just go out and buy stretchy pants that will last you for maybe like, I don't know, a week. Wrap dresses are great. They're a great option. You can pull them tighter when you're smaller, loosen out, great for breastfeeding. That's one I usually get sort of my maternity clients in. Things like that. And also look for when you're breastfeeding. So anything with a low cut top, you may as well get it now, because that's the next step, usually. I would also say online, unfortunately, like we talked about tonight, look to the US. There's a lot more options in the US.
Unfortunately, shipping is not always great. And also go for your stretchy fabrics, your cottons and your things like that. Give you that bump room, but then will stretch back.
Yeah. So they show off the bump.
Yeah.
Wear the stretchy clothes.
Jersey fabric.
Yeah.
On that note, does Active Truth have room for the bump range?
Shameless plug. Yes, we do have maternity
I know.
attires. We also have briefs that you can wear under your stretchy dresses. So, I guess my experience in pregnancy, I think, you often hesitate to buy pregnancy-specific clothes because it's only for a period. But I would also say, just buy a few key pieces that you'll wear to death. You'll have your baby and you'll never ever want to see them and you'll want to burn them. But at least buy a few things that make you feel good over that period. Your body's changing. It's an emotional period. Feel good while you're doing it.
And they can see you next to Kmart for those.
Anybody else have any questions that we can ask? Anything else online? Alex, okay, they're amazing. Wow.
I have a question. For the business of fashion, I'm always interested in Australian brands and especially activewear now. Activewear is actually a style now, not just something that you wear. So, in the business of fashion, a brand like yours, how are you infiltrating the whole? There's so much activewear now, but what's your move?
Inclusivity and diversity. I mean, that's our point of difference, and that's why we've had the success that we've had over the past 5 years is because women want that. I think women need that, and there's, as we were saying before about pretty half-assed efforts, for want of a better word. You'll see other activewear brands that might have a size 14 model or they're extended sizes, but it's only in their black tights and 3 styles and only available online and it's sold out straight away because they've only actually made 2 in them, and it's pretty dire out there. So for us, that's been a huge point of difference for us, and it continues to be 5.5 years on. Not a lot has changed, unfortunately, over that period.
Alright, so I guess we're going to wrap it up now. So just thank you so much for joining us. It's a really good discussion to have. So we're glad you could join us for it. I just want to say as well, if you're not already following these women on Instagram, go ahead and follow them. Follow Miss Tyler as well. Just want to also mention about the fashion show we've got on Saturday. So just looking at the details here. So tickets are available on Eventbrite, much like tonight. $10 entry, gets you a drink on arrival. Starting time on Saturday, 3 p.m. So it's going to be one of our last events for the Miss Tyler activation here at Toombul. It's been amazing. I'm pretty sure everyone can say how incredible the experience has been, and the women that we've met over the couple of months. So
Just one more question. With regards to everyone's handles, where can you find them? Like, is it going to be, say, on your Instagram?
I think what we'll do on Miss Tyler, on their Instagram page, we've been tagged all on the public posts that they've put up on tonight, so if you go on there you can see us tagged. So thank you so much for coming tonight, and thank you ladies for sharing.
Well done.